This is Neil, and this will be my demo for my game for CA1, Goldshore Manor. If we open up on play here, initially we start off with a little bit of dialogue before we move into the game. And as we first advance forward, we can see that using a nav mesh, if we click on the ground before us, we can move in those general directions. We have an empty inventory up here for our evidence, and if we move inside, we can begin the proper story of the game. So, we're just walking about inside here. We can then head over to this large room over here, to which we find a peculiar scene going on with our NPCs interacting with each other and essentially saying that a murder has happened when we are here to report a crime to the mayor. Just skip through this real quick. And upon this being complete, we will see that we can begin interacting with the game and with the level. So here we have this couch, for example. Couch looks pretty comfy, wish I could sit down and take a load off. Unfortunately, we do have work to do. So let's go ahead and let's have a small conversation with one of the NPCs here. For example, we have here the Mayor of Goldshore. I'm talking to her. We can see that she's quite angry for some reason. Unusually angry according to the story. So if we go into here for the moment, we can go over to this chest, and we can find a wine casket. Bring up the inventory just for a moment. You'll make note of this, and you can see that in our inventory now, we now have what looks to be a case of wine, and hovering over it, wine. There's a faint tint of enchantment magic on this, and the rest of the bottle's in there. So, if we take a quick moment to go back to the mayor, we can have a small conversation with her, and we can attempt to fix the mayor, as our character here will cast a spell to get rid of the enchantment magic on her, and from that we can learn more clues about what is going on in this scenario here. As you can also see, as we go into certain sections of the map, walls will fade away as we go into the internal structure. As you can see, this game is relatively dialogue heavy. If we go back to over here, we can see that there is a set of papers, a knife, and some scrolls over here. So if we just take this, open up our inventory once more, we can see that this knife has been added to our inventory that we can see over here. And it has been destroyed from the game world here. Same with the scroll that we can add to our inventory also. Once again, we can see that 2 scrolls have been added, and once again, hovering over them, we then get more information. Moving on, all of the items within the game, while essentially all of the pieces of evidence that you can find, are labeled down as scriptable objects. Go back up to here, you'll see that we are up here on the roof where we can get some more information if need be. And back to the office will just lead us back down to here. Finally, if we head back down to outside, we can go and investigate the body of the victim, where we can learn some more information, which should be added to our inventory here. Overall, the objectives of the game are completed by talking with the characters, trying to gather essentially as much evidence as you can to make the final confrontation and hopefully find out who did the murder, or if anything, you could even possibly just leave the murder investigation altogether, as you did initially come here for a different crime to solve anyway. In terms of the benefits from the peer review process, I certainly think that The peer review process certainly gave me a better insight on what the players of the game were expecting, and it helped me to sort of get a greater insight on what was the most important aspects to do within the game. Um, Overall, my design process, at least in terms of this game, was because it was very heavily focused on dialogue. I wanted to try and get out the sort of character of our player character here, Nyx. I wanted to make sure that our character stood out, even if the player was the one dictating her decisions. And I believe that is everything that I needed to show. So, thank you for your time.